Welcome back to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with Dan, but first let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Violet Defense for their support of the podcast. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement some of their existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Thanks again to Violet Defense for their support of the podcast and the Mentoring Minute, and go to violetdefense.com for more information about their great products. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year, while also creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. I promise you, you will be very impressed. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they are on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For more ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute. Call them at 614-981-3589 or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. I promise you, you will be very impressed with their products. We also want to thank Huddle for their support of the Mentoring Minute. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Over 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, use Huddle to elevate the performance of their teams using video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's also built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high schools and colleges. And even professional teams are using Huddle to help their athletes play at the highest level. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the teams you're trying to get to recruit your kids. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, we power sports. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys for their support. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also puts you in touch with the 95% of the parents and the players who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466 or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and let them help you take your athletic department from good to great. We also want to thank Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Learn more at hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Welcome back to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. Dan, what do you have for us on today's episode?
Well, Jake, as an athletic director, you always try to make your job streamlined and a little bit easier for yourself. And I want to talk a little bit today about what you can do as an athletic director to make your job easier and use the best resource that you can find in a high school, your students. If you're a teacher and an athletic director, encourage your administration to allow you to teach maybe an elective called an SID class, which is a student information director. What it does, it hones the kids, educational athletics, and I preach that all the time. As an SID student, you're going to hone your skills technically, mathematically, socially, leadership skills. All these things can happen with an effective SID program and make your job a little bit easier. So after the break, I want to talk about some of the things that the students can do for you in the class, and both in the class and outside the class, and the things that they're going to learn.
It's such a great tip, and it's one of those things that in my case, I really didn't learn and take advantage of until, later in my career, but got a couple of success stories to share later on. Great idea, student information director program. We're going to be back with Dan Comeau in the Mentoring Minute, but let's take a quick break and acknowledge a couple of our podcast sponsors. We want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs for their support of the Mentoring Minute. Wall of Fame by Vital Signs is on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles, along with an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute. Call them at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. You really need to check these products out. We're back with Dan Comeau on the Mentoring Minute. Dan, you were going to share some tips about developing and utilizing a student information director type program at your school. How can we do that?
Well, as a veteran, I won't say old, but I will say a veteran athletic director, my technical skills are not where they should be when it comes to computers and things like that. And kids are so much more advanced because they've grown up with it. And they're quicker, they're more efficient, and they know what they're doing with a computer. With an SID program, if you can get 10, 12 kids in a classroom, they can do so much to help you out with your day-to-day progress with paperwork, with schedules. Some of the things that our SIDs currently do at Treasure Coast High School, they print the schedules and they print programs and make up programs for the athletic event. It helps hone their technical skills. They set up for events. They'll set up the chairs, the tables, the football field, and they learn the sport that they're working with. The ticket takers, and now that we don't really have cash going on, and all we do is scan, they stay at the door and scan. They double check contracts. And I know the buck stops here when it comes to an athletic director, but if they can double check contracts, and if they see something that doesn't look right, they can bring it to your attention, and corrections can be made. They learn about the sport. They may be working lacrosse and they don't know much about lacrosse, but it educates them. Taking stats, that hones their mathematical skills. My son's a math teacher at Treasure Coast High School, and he has some of the students, that's all they do at the games is take stats and use the mathematical equations to do percentages. Organized storage rooms. I mean, that is something that all athletic directors need. And kids have ideas. They produce rosters, hard copies, both hard copies and digital, deal with the press and sending rosters to the press. They're being part of the chain gang on a football field. That may encourage a student or two to jump into the world of officiating, and that's another one down the road. We'll talk about how to get young people into officiating. You know, the setting up a scorer's table or sitting at the scorer's table, taking stats, making announcements. There are some people that want to be announcers, and it gives them an opportunity to be involved with athletics, not necessarily as the athlete. And there is a need for it. And I think it's a great opportunity for students to get involved and learn some leadership skills, some math skills, technical skills, all the things that we as athletic directors need from our kids.
Again, I am 100% with you on that. And for our listeners, you have students at your school right now, whether you're a big school or a small school, they are sports geeks. And I mean that in a very positive way. And a lot of times they love sports, but they're not going to go out for a team, whether it's, football, basketball, swimming, tennis, but they still love sports. And those are the kids that you really want to reach out and get involved in your program. We had some success, my last 10 or 15 years as an AD in getting students to serve as our public address announcers for our games, not just middle school and JV games, but varsity games. One young man did it for almost 4 years, went on to Northwestern and got involved in their radio, TV, sports production. Had another young man, my first one at McClay in Tallahassee, went to SMU. And my last one, I got him started when he was in middle school. He's in high school now, still announcing varsity games across the board. And he was recently asked to be the announcer at the Florida State University women's basketball game, doing his first college game. So again, you have kids just like this at your school. And whether they're in sports information, or we would kind of laughingly call our small time thing, game day operations, all the things that Dan mentioned, they can work and they will work for you. So Dan, again, another great mentoring minute. If one of our ADs wants to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more, how do they get in touch with you?
They can email me at dcomeau19@comcast.net. And if they have any ideas that they want to hear about, just send them to me and I'll put together a little program.
All right. Great stuff as always. Dan Comeau and the Mentoring Minute. For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of all of our episodes are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening. Come back again next Tuesday for another episode of Dan Comeau's Mentoring Minute, and just about every day for the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for listening. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support of the Mentoring Minute and the Educational AD Podcast. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more about what Hometown Ticketing can do for you and your program by going to hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to thank Huddle. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Contact the pros at huddle.com for how to become a Huddle school and use video and analytics to help your teams play better. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor scoring tables and video boards. Go to sales at sidelineinteractive.com to find out more about what their product can do for you. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, who sponsor the Athletic Director's Toolbox segment of our podcast. Call them at 1-800-738-6466 or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to take your program from good to great.